Check, check. Okay, perfect. Mike's working. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Full Send App Mass Podcast, episode 123. Tonight, we are going to be talking about this weekend's Indy 500 qualifying. Lots of drama to talk about here with you guys tonight. Uh, Probably one of the most intriguing qualifying sessions of the Indy 500 I've seen in a while. Glued to my TV all weekend. That was super fun. Also, NASCAR All Star Weekend at North Wilkesboro. Got some good opinions, good topics about that to share with you guys, as well as the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix for Formula One. Max Verstappen at it again, once again. I mean, unbelievable. Um, and then we'll also talk a little bit about the North Wilkesboro weekend. We had trucks there as well as this weekend. And then the big part of this week, it is Merry Motorsports Week, Merry Motorsports Day coming up on Sunday for the Monaco Grand Prix in the morning, the Indy 500 in the afternoon, and the World 600 in the evening. All three of those will be watch partied right here on this YouTube channel on Sunday. A full day's worth of watch parties. It should be a lot of fun. Start early in the morning with Monaco, obviously. And then depending on the length of that race and how that goes, when we'll jump into the Indy 500 afterward, and then the break in between before we get into the World 600. We did that last year. It was a lot of fun, and we're gonna do that again here on this channel for you guys on Sunday. Also, I've got some nominees for Driver of the Week, Bonehead of the Week. I'll get into those with you guys as well. And then also, like I said, we'll go over the races this weekend. I'll give you my predictions, kind of what to expect going into this weekend's races, as well as maybe some dark horse picks to watch out for this weekend. I feel like there's some intriguing storylines going into this weekend, and I cannot wait to break some of those down with you guys here today on this awesome Tuesday. I don't really know exactly how to start this podcast with the news wise, because we have obviously the Indy 500 with the Penske the Penske penalties going on with the rear attenuators, and then also there is a little bit of a change to the format for Monaco this weekend, which I see why they're doing it. I don't know. I'm a fan, not a fan of it. It's kind of one of those double-edged sword type things, but I guess maybe that's where I should start. So this weekend for Monaco's Grand Prix, they are making it a minimum of 2 pit stop race. We saw last year where the safety car laid in the beginning of that race with that big first lap crash with Perez and the 2 Haas cars, as well as Sainz having his issue. Um, Ended up setting it up where everybody pitted right after that, or right during that safety car period, and then we had 0 pit stops for the rest of the race. Really kind of turned it into a snooze fest. I don't think there was but maybe 2 passes on track the whole race from that point forward. And it really kind of ruined the race, made it probably one of the most boring Grand Prix of all of last year, which last year had an extremely successful season, in my opinion, with a lot of great races. And then your most prestigious race kind of ends with really no controversy, no action, no drama. Unlike the last few years where we've seen rain come into play, we saw a lot of mistakes on pit road come into play. We really had none of that play out in last year's Monaco Grand Prix. But then the racing purist side of me says, well, we have enough gimmicks in that one series that races on Sundays, if you know what I mean. And I'm just over gimmicks in racing. I just don't like gimmicks in racing. I want to see pure racing, good racing, clean racing, successful racing, dominant racing. I don't really care. I just want to see racing without the gimmicks. Um, and this feels like kind of a gimmick. I mean, to make it a minimum 2-stop race or 2-stop strategy. I've heard some people online say, well, why don't they do kind of what? Just run like a 2-stop, but then make it where you have to run all 3 tire compounds. Which I guess I like that, but those are the same people that bitch about IndyCar. And IndyCar does the same thing where you got to run each compound and got to run them a certain amount of time and length or whatnot. I heard one person say like our interesting strategy would be, hey, why don't you just pit on the second lap and then pit on the 76th lap? So basically, just pitting like the very beginning and the very end of the race, which I thought was interesting. I don't know who's gonna try that strategy out. Um, I don't know. I feel like maybe doing where you have to run 2 different compounds. I think that would be interesting. I don't know. I don't really like the gimmicks. I mean, IndyCar's done it forever, and it really kind of is part of the race and the strategy. Um, See something like that in F1, I don't think that would be a terrible idea, terrible thing. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I just know that the race is going to be better with a minimum of 2 pit stops. It just is. It will be better. It's always going to be better. When you only pit once or you have no pit stops, it's just not going to create for a good or compelling race. Having an extra opportunity down pit road where somebody can make a mistake, the undercuts, overcut strategies, maybe different tire compound strategies, maybe find a little bit like at certain F1 weekends, like especially with IndyCar, one tire compound's always better than the other, and you kind of do a little bit of trial and error. Maybe you put the choice compound on early, and then maybe you rotate off of it later, or vice versa. Um, it just makes for a more compelling race. Leaves for more opportunity for strategy, leaves for more opportunity for overtakes. I'm a fan of having more pit stops. I just don't know if I want to make it a gimmick where you have to do it. Like my hope is that weather comes into play kind of like 2023 and we get some more magic with the race kind of flipping on its head at the very end, which 2023's Monaco Grand Prix was really good. 2024 was really terrible. It was like one end of the spectrum to the other. Hopefully we see something compelling this weekend. Alrighty. I'm gonna save the Penske penalty for the Indy 500 qualifying recap segment of this podcast, because I'm still indecisive on how I feel about it, and I kind of just want to break it down with you guys in regards to the qualifying. So we'll move on to the truck series this weekend. Corey Heim again with the best truck. Chandler Smith was running him down late in that race. We had a late race caution, late race restart. Lane Riggs goes kind of on a desperate move. I wouldn't say super desperate. It wasn't super egregious, and I like the move. I think it was the only move you could really make. I've heard so many people critique it and Monday morning quarterback it, or Monday morning crew chief it. Uh, I don't think it was egregious. I don't think it was a terrible move. I enjoyed the move. Like I've said multiple times on this channel, I am a big Lane Riggs advocate fan. I think he is extremely talented, and it's just a matter of time before he starts knocking off multiple wins on a regular basis. Uh, did did Heim get up into the marbles and spin out? Yeah, I feel like that's just short track racing though. We've seen way worse at short tracks over the last few years. Um, than what we saw with Lane Riggs in this situation. Think the biggest bonehead move here for Lane Riggs is the fact that he choked the race. He makes the move, he didn't wall him, which I mean, again, I feel like that's one of the most that and right hooking somebody are probably the worst two moves you could do in any type of circle track oval racing. He didn't wall him, so I don't think it was that egregious of a move there. But the problem is that once he made the move and committed to the move and successfully basically pulled off what he was trying to accomplish, then he loses the race. I mean, you can't do that. Chandler Smith steals it from him, his teammate. Um, I guess that's what makes it the bonehead move for me for Layden Riggs here is the fact that he lost the race. If he wins the race, I don't see anything wrong with it. But if you're gonna do that, you got to win the race. You can't you can't lose the race after doing that. That was just boneheaded in my opinion. If you're gonna make the move and then lose the race, so that'll be a one nominee for me this weekend. I thought the racing was interesting in the truck series. I thought all weekend long, to be honest with you, the racing in North Wilkesboro is really good. I have no complaints. I think it was some of the best short track racing I've seen since Bristol last year. Uh, it was the first time watching a short track race or short tracks in NASCAR over the last couple years where I felt like tires actually meant something. Which didn't mean a whole lot. It meant a little bit, right? Like if you were on older tires on a restart up at the front of the field and somebody had newer tires, those first 2, 3 laps after a restart were crucial. Uh, where you could actually gain track position and make moves and then actually move forward. But once like a couple laps went by and got heat in the tires, it's something like they leveled off way quicker, kind of like what we normally see. But in the past, like when we go to Richmond or Martinsville or even Bristol, uh, really the strategy there should just be to never put on tires because we never see any type of advantage, even on a restart, even on a long run. The tires level out so fast that basically you're just trying to race for track position, and then you can just block like crazy with all the new tools and stuff you have at the in the cockpit with the rear view camera mirror, and I mean, it's just not a good product. But this weekend, it's like we saw guys on older tires or in two tires, and I guess it depended on how further up in the field you were, if you got swallowed up by the fresh tires on a restart. Restarts were important. I actually saw guys having to make big time moves on restarts. We saw lots and lots of side racing all day long or all weekend long. The outside line was really dominant. The inside line was good at times for a few laps. You could really make it work down there. Yeah, it kind of put you in a position where it was like old school Bristol with the trying to work the inside when they're, or even like the last few years of Bristol trying to work the inside on somebody who's running the outside with the momentum. It kind of felt like that where you really had to commit to the bottom. You really had to kind of use them up on exit. You had to try to build the momentum and get the drive off the corner. It was really good short track racing. That's what you want to see. Somebody on the outside, even on older, newer, fresher tires, they really could defend up on the outside. Being able to maybe enter a little bit higher up to the wall, being able to rotate the center, be able to get back on the gas quicker. Just kept the momentum rolling up there. Kind of if you shallowed up your entry up on the outside, kind of made a difference. That was just fun to watch. That's what I like to watch about racing. That's what put it more back in the driver's hands than really just kind of being handcuffed to the tire compounds and the chassis design or the terrible package we have on this next gen car. It didn't feel like we had that really all weekend. So I do have to applaud North Wilkesboro. I think uh running like the heat races, I felt like were even better than the All-Star race this weekend with NASCAR, which is I think a lot of it had to do with the hotter track temperatures. It's always going to be better racing with hotter track temperatures. Lower the track temperatures, the more grip you're going to have, the more kind of spread out and lackluster the race could be. A little bit less tire wear. I felt like we had enough tire wear where we did see lap times fall off a little bit to an extent. Not as much as I would still like to see, but enough where I guess the positive I'm trying to say is at least we saw if you did decide to put four tires on a race car, you had an advantage for 3 laps on a restart. And that created a lot of passing. That created a lot of parity. That created a lot of side by side racing. We saw 2, 3 wide racing. Shoot, I think at some points we saw 4 wide racing this weekend, which was super fun. I really did actually enjoy this weekend with the North Wilkesboro All Star Race weekend with the trucks. The All Star Open. I guess we could just go right into the All Star Open, All Star Race here next, since we're on the topic of North Wilkesboro. Uh, in the Open, SVG qualified up front, absolutely took him behind the woodshed. Old Yeller the entire field there in qualifying. I mean, absolutely dominant. He opened up a massive gap early in that race. Looked like he had the best car. But then he put tires on, didn't get a good enough restart. Kind of got that was kind of my issue with the race was if you did decide to put new tires on, you lose the track position. Those first 2 to 3 laps after restart were crucial because if you did not gain a couple positions or put yourself closer to the front of the field, you were basically cooked. It didn't matter if you had no tires or 4 tires, you were basically gonna be okay. And that's what we saw with SVG. They come in to put 4 tires on when everybody else kind of around them put 2 on. I knew the race was over at that point because you're having the best car out front. You didn't have to put yourself in traffic for the duration of that race. You're out front controlling it. Uh, Once you get back in traffic, your car's gonna handle a lot worse. And that's what we saw. Was never able to recover. And then also obviously Carson Hocevar, he ends up taking the 2 tires. He ends up leading, kind of controlling the end of the race. And then the major drama there was with Ryan Preece, who completely botched it. Bonehead move of the week there. Runs right over the choose cone, ends up getting sent right to the rear of the field. Post race takes the cone, places it up on the wall. I mean, it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, but it was kind of clownish too. I mean, I don't know. It just you have one job. I get why they don't do like the whole pomp and circumstance of the cone like they do at every other short track in the entire freaking planet of Earth, but um, I mean, I don't know. It's just a gift. It was See, that was my thing going in this weekend. I'm not going to bitch one time about gimmicks on this podcast when it comes to the NASCAR All-Star Race weekend at Wilkesboro because if if NASCAR is going to just absolutely go full in, all the chips in the middle, all in, full send, no regrets to this whole identity of being this entertainment entity over racing, like we call it all the time. They're the WWE of NASCAR or of motorsports, right? And they don't care. Like they don't shy away from it. They just continually push that narrative. They continue to add more gimmicks and gimmicks and gimmicks and gimmicks every single year. Um, the way I feel about it is if we went to a race where there was no points on the line, the whole idea was to entertain us, and we didn't have enough gimmicks, I was going to be mad. We didn't have enough gimmicks, honestly. I think we should have just had way more gimmicks. We should have made it where you did a random draw halfway through the race where these guys get right side tires, these guys get left side tires, these guys get to stay out on old tires, these guys get forward, but it make it a random draw. I would be fine with it. We throw a caution every 5 laps. Just uh, get 5 laps into a run. And however you did on the restart, we just throw another caution. We run back and we do the next 5 laps. Count caution laps on this caution, not on this caution. We do, instead of a green-white checker overtime, we do a green-green. Oh, there's the white, I guess, yellow checker type restart overtime, whatever. Had to be an overtime. Like if we got under 2 laps to go, boom, caution will come out. We're doing overtime. We do 15 attempts. In the open, they had 1 attempt guaranteed. I think we should have. I think we should have had 15 overtime attempts. You know what I'm saying? We should just went all in on this. We should have had fights, manufactured fights from the script writers. Like we just send a jackman from this team out to this part of the track, and he fights the gas man from this team. Winning team gets sent out to the back of the field. The winning team gets sent straight to the front of the field. Like I wanted to see gimmicks, absolute gimmicks. Like we do a 3-wide restart. You know what I mean? Like if we're just gonna go full gimmicks, let's just freaking do it, man. Like, and unfortunately we didn't get enough gimmicks. I wanted more gimmicks. We didn't get enough gimmicks. So RIP. RIP. Maybe next year we vote to have the blindfold race, where we run 10 laps. We bring them in. We blindfold the drivers. We make them run 1 lap blindfolded. And then if they don't wreck enough cars, then we bring them back in and we put them in reverse around the track. So they got to do the KFB lap around the track. And then in qualifying, we make it like a 3-legged race. So it's like you do half a lap, then you have to get out, run the next half of the lap, and then they bring the crew out there and then they push the car around the track for 1 lap. And that would set your starting lineup for the All-Star race. Pit stops, we do pit stops, but without, we actually put real fuel in the race car. Or we actually like add like nitrous or something to the race car. So like when they come into pit, they have to lift the hood and do like a fuel injection rebuild like right there during the pit stop. They have to dismount and remount the rear end during a pit stop, and that will determine like your second half of your starting grid for the All-Star race. Maybe we do one where they have to, on their second lap of qualifying, they have to bounce off the wall and tear off the right side of the car. And then for that next lap, they come in and they have to actually rebuild the right side of that race car, rewrap it and everything. And then it has to hit the template right after tech inspection. And whoever is closest to matching the template after tech inspection becomes your new pole setter. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, hire me, NASCAR. I've got gimmicks for days to make your sport way more entertaining. I think maybe you do even do like a fan competition, right? So we take like the 2 drunkest looking fans in the stands and they have to shotgun like 3 beers. And then once they're done shotgunning 3 beers, they hop into the pace car and then they make a lap around the track. And then, but they do it the opposite direction of the field. So then basically during the pace lap with the pace car going the opposite direction, we have all the cup cars trying to like absolutely swerve and avoid avoid the 2 drunk pace car drivers. And whoever like survives with no damage, they have to go to the back because they didn't try hard enough to get wrecked, like just different cool things like that, or they had fireworks during the one gimmick caution that they threw at the end. Why don't we just light off the fireworks on top of the race cars? Why don't we just mount the mortars on the race cars and then they have to come into pit and then they have to light them off with long fuses. They have to light the fuses and then send them back on the track, and then they have to launch off the car. And then, yeah, I'm just telling you, like, hire me NASCAR for next year's All Star race. I got lots of cool ideas for you. Um, uh, let's just, I guess, talk about more of the race. BK was quick early, and then he had the most comical, absolutely hilarious um crasher at the end. Ends up rolling in the pit box. The car's doing the bouncies, the hoppity hops, which was pretty funny. Hung moneyed it, ran into the wall, had to play some strategy from starting in the back. It didn't work out for him. Who else? Who else had a great race? Um, I mean, that's it. I mean, Logano had the best car. Let's be honest with you with this whole thing. He had the best car. Dominated this race. At the end of the race, we had that gimmick caution with old Mikey. I mean, see, that's another thing is he drops the flag. Like, we should have had like the flag on fire or something. Make it entertaining. Like, like, I don't know. We should have turned all the lights off halfway during the race. I mean, there's just so many cool things we could have done with this All-Star race, man. Could have made it really fun. All right. We could have even did like a spin and win thing. Like, if you're running second, the only way you can win the race is if you can't go up and pass him. You just have to dump him. And then like the guy behind him has to dump him. Like you had spin to pass type rules, That would have been fun. Or racing around pit lane would have been cool too. Can you imagine if they had to like run one lap around the track, and then they had to do a joker lap every 5 laps? So one out of every 5 laps, they had to go full speed down pit lane as fast as they could. That would have been super sick. All right. Yeah, Christopher Bell, late race, ends up making the move on Joey Logano. I thought it was clean and fair, a lot like I feel about the Layden Riggs incident. But he didn't choke it. He actually got the job done and won the All-Star race. C Bell looking unstoppable. If you remember last year when was it the year that I think it was the year that Blaney won, he won the All-Star race, and then the year Logano won last year, he won the All-Star race. And then I think the year that Elliott won, he won the All-Star race. So it feels like it's a good omen to win the All-Star race, and then you end up winning the championship. Tom, and my off-season prediction has been that Christopher Bell's going to win the 2025 NASCAR championship. And winning this All-Star race, I feel like it's a good omen. We've seen a lot of guys win the championship after winning an All-Star race the last couple of years. So, I mean, I'm let's put all the gimmicks and all that stuff aside, because I'm okay with the gimmicks. I gave you a lot of cool ideas for gimmicks. It was good racing. Let's be honest with it here, guys. It was good racing this weekend in North Wilkesboro. That is what you want to see from short track racing. We didn't see any egregious running people into the wall, anybody wrecking each other, which is shocking, which is absolutely shocking. And I think the reason we didn't see a whole lot of that this year is because the racing was so good. I mean, there was opportunities to make moves. There was opportunities to pass. We saw some guys that were really good on the bottom, and a lot of guys were really good on the top. The track widened out. You have multiple grooves. You could run the middle. You could run the right up on the top of the wall. You could run right down up on the apron. I mean, we saw so many different battles, a lot of comers and goers, a lot of different strategy with when am I going to take my 2, when am I going to stay out on old tires, when am I going to take 4 tires, what kind of track position do I have, what kind of restart can I get, can I keep it side by side with him, maybe pull a slide job here, or maybe try to use him up just a little bit on corner exit, kind of put myself in that position. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness gracious, I got the hiccups. Put yourself in position to make that pass when needed. Oh, goodness. I don't think I have any water left either, guys. Oh, I got the hiccups like real quick. Where was that? Oh, yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought Wilkesboro was an awesome, extremely entertaining race. I guess they were just doing the whole narrative of trying to get a points race in North Wilkesboro. I think it could be successful. Like I said, I think the heat races were better than the All-Star race, and I thought the All-Star race was good. I think the it factor is running it in the hottest part of the day, from anywhere from like noon to 1 in the afternoon, in like the middle of the summer, like in a June-ish or July-ish type atmosphere. I mean, it'd be perfect. I think it would be a good race, especially if we bring maybe even a softer tire than what we had this weekend at Wilkesboro. Maybe if we had the option tires, I think that would be entertaining. I'd watch it. I think it'd be great. I mean, Richmond sucks. Martinsville sucks. Bristol's beginning to suck. Um, I think Wilkesboro's all we got. And this is another thing I did want to talk about too. What have been the best races in the next gen era for NASCAR? Mile and a halves, intermediates, and it's not even close. What was the best tracks in the Gen 6, Gen 5 era? It was short tracks and road courses, right? Well, we spent all of that time where mile intermediates were the worst tracks on the schedule during the All-Star race, running intermediates every year in an era of car that those were the worst tracks. Now we're in a Gen 7 car, and the worst tracks for this car are short tracks. So where do we take the All-Star race and all these special events? To short tracks. So why does NASCAR double down on running the tracks that don't put on the best races at that generation of race car, but continually go to those types of racetracks? Like in the Gen 5, 6 era, we should have been running short tracks for the All-Star race every year. Those would have been the best All-Star races. But we ran intermediates, which were terrible. So then now we built a car that's exceptional on intermediates, and we're going to run short tracks. It's the most bass-ackwards, asinine thing ever. This was the best short track race, second best short track race in the next gen era, behind the Bristol race last year. And it's not even close. I mean, it's not even freaking particularly close. I mean, this was a good race. And if we ran like Charlotte again for the All-Star race, you know? It'd be cool. It'd be freaking awesome. And again, there's too many people in the All-Star race too. 23 cars. You're telling me it's like how I feel about like stick at ball sports. Like if you watch like I think it's NBA, like 22 of the 30 teams make the playoffs. Like it's ridiculous. It's just too many teams that make the playoffs. Same with the NASCAR playoffs. 16 out of 36 make the playoffs. All-Star race. There's 23 of your 36 guys are all-stars. That's just too many, man. The requirements to get in the All-Star race are just ridiculous. It should honestly just be winners of the current year, or anybody that won after the All-Star race and before the All-Star race, and then past All-Star race winners. Or past champions. I don't even care about All-Star race winners. That should be it. Just too many cars in the All-Star race. All right, that's all I got to say about that. The last thing I did want to talk about with North Wilkesboro weekend, all this freaking hubbub, appendage riding for the Cars Tour and whatever at North Wilkesboro. You guys are morons, man. Like, I've watched Cars Tour races many, many times. And what we saw this weekend with the Cars Tour is what I've seen on every Cars Tour race I've ever seen. It was a shit show. It was a shit show, guys. That's the Cars Tour, man. Same with the modifieds. I mean, I've seen lots of modified races, and there's a lot of shit shows there, too. That's short track racing. I don't want to hear that short track racing, you just did the best racing in the world. No. It can be good, but it also can be bad. For every one good short track race you have like 7 to 10 shit ones. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm not talking about the racing product, because like, obviously the racing product was good. There was lots of great battles and lots of great racing. I'm talking about the wreck fest. I'm talking about the trash part of the race. That's what I'm talking about. It happens all the time. That's why road racing is the best racing. I want to see more road racing, more road courses in the top levels of NASCAR. All right. I say let's jump into excuse me. Let's jump into F1 next, and then I'll jump into the Indy 500 qualifying weekend last. Next would be the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Absolute Maxter class is what I call it. Max Verstappen Master Class. The Maxter class of all time. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Absolutely took advantage of Oscar Piastri on that initial start. It didn't look like he was going to be able to do it. He was up on the outside, disadvantaged, and absolutely drove around Oscar Piastri. And then from there, just put on an absolute masterclass. I mean, he was untouchable. Out strategized them, out or caught the lucky breaks with the safety cars when he did. Um, I do want to talk about the one safety car that happened with Kimi Antonelli. This, for the life of me, just absolutely irks the shit out of me, and I see it all the time in a lot of motorsports. It's kind of becoming this problematic thing, even at a local short track level. It's happening now. Kimi Antonelli, who has a mechanical issue, ends up parking next to like basically an access spot in the fence where they could basically just pull his car off and go. I understand the safety car. Safety car 100,000% need to be deployed there. But can you explain to me why it took them 9 laps around Imola to clean up a single car mechanical issue next to an access gate? It was the safety car from hell. The never-ending safety car. Watching it was just irking me to death. I was getting so pissed off. I was like, come on, I want to go back racing. Because we had, right when the safety car comes out, you saw Max come in, he gets the new tires, and you saw Piastri come in. Like, we saw all these guys pit immediately. And then it took them a freaking fortnight to clean the damn track up. He wasn't even on the track. He was in the grass next to an access gate. And it took them that long to clean it up. That's unacceptable. This has been a problem in many motorsports over the last few years, and it's getting worse. It takes so long to clean up these insignificant accidents. It's just irks me. I don't know if maybe I'm the only one that noticed it and was complaining about it, but that was like a 15, 20-minute safety car for nothing. I've seen guys flip and crash, and they clean it up faster than that. I mean, this is ridiculous to me, guys. I want to talk about Alex Albon. I'm going to nominate him for Driver of the Week. Absolutely phenomenal race again. Was this his 3rd consecutive top 5 finish this season in F1? Basically putting Williams on his back this year, proving that he is very extremely underrated. He's finally figured out this Williams car. Williams has gotten so much better this year. I'm with Tom. Like, Tom's been saying it for the last couple of weeks. I'm starting to agree with him. I think it's a matter of time before we see Williams find themselves a victory lane. There's a lot of wild card Grand Prix upcoming, and I feel like Williams could definitely give a shot at it. I mean, shoot, this weekend. I don't want to spoil it, but man, watch out for Williams this weekend at Monaco, man. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Alex Albon. Him and Leclerc had a little bit of an issue late in that race, kind of cost him a chance at a P4. Lewis Hamilton was able to get by. Leclerc did end up conceding the position to Albon, but I mean, Albon's doing really good this year. Absolutely fun to watch. And then obviously the round out the podium behind Verstappen, Piastri, or Norris, then Piastri. The World Championship standings after Imola are Piastri with a 13-point lead over Lando Norris, and then a 22-point lead over Verstappen. I feel like this World Championship is going to come down to the bitter, absolute end. Can never count out Verstappen, even when it looks like he's losing ground, losing hope. He just finds a way to go find victory lane. He's him. He's amazing. Constructors, McLaren 132 points over Mercedes, and then 146 points over Red Bull. I mean, it's looking like it's a rip in the chat there for anybody else. But I'm excited. I'll preview the Monaco Grand Prix here for you guys in a little bit. But next is the final thing I want to talk about for this weekend, and we got to get into it with the Indy 500 qualifying. Like I said at the beginning, this was one of the most thrilling, exciting qualifying weekends for the Indy 500 I've seen in a while. The drama for Bump Day wasn't particularly all that exciting as it's been in the past. But what was exciting was the race for the pole. And it's usually the opposite. Sometimes it's reverted. But this weekend's pole run was so much fun to watch. Rookie team, Prema. We talked about it in the offseason lots of times. Prema is that kind of team that goes into any type of motorsport, big appendage swinging. They're going to give it everything they got. They've had a rough start to this year, guys. They've not had great performance at any of these opening rounds in this IndyCar season, which you don't expect much. They're a rookie team, trying to adapt to the American way of motorsports. They're a European team for and foremost. They race a lot in like the European LMP3s, LMP2 sports cars. They got Formula 2, Formula 3. Um, that's kind of their bread and butter. Now making this jump over to IndyCar, bringing in a rookie driver, Schwartzman, who's been in their pipeline for a long time. They bring in a little bit of an experienced IndyCar driver with Callum Ilott. Um, and they go hit the ground running, man. Schwartzman had an absolutely unbelievable weekend at the Indy 500 qualifying. Uh, Makes it to the Fast 12, and then from the Fast 12 advances to the Fast 6, and then puts up a lap time and a run for the ages. I mean, he was what, 3/10 faster, or 3/10 of a mile faster than the second place Takuma Sato. I mean, he was on the absolute ragged edge, has never raced an oval prior to this Indianapolis 500. This team, Prema, is their first year in IndyCar. I mean, the storylines, the first rookie pole sitter in over 43 years, guys. This is absolutely insanity. It's the second one since 1951 to be on the pole for the Indianapolis 500. I mean, this is unfreaking believable. Prema was losing their minds. One of the most underdog heroic pole runs of all time. I mean, I think we'll always look back at this Indy 500 for what Prema and what Robert Schwartzman were able to do, and how trimmed out that car was, how to the ragged edge he was fantastic on the adjustments on the weight jacker, fantastic with getting the rear wing out of the air, getting the way that they trimmed the car out, and how close he was to the wall, and his use of the hybrid deployment. I mean, he absolutely executed. There was only one time on that 4-lap run where it looked like it might have got away from him, where he lifted just a little bit in between 1 and 2. But then he went right back to the throttle and was able to keep the average up high enough to be able to take the pole. It was an unbelievable underdog story for Robert Schwartzman. I'm still in shock. I can't believe it happened. Cannot believe it happened. It's going to be different when we get into the race. Obviously, they've shown that they've had a lot of pace, the fastest car in Indy. But we'll see what they could do when it comes to race day. Also got to talk about it with Takuma Sato. This man is just, I mean, he's a beast, dude. He is a 2-time Indy 500 champion for putting that thing. Am I good? I'm good. I don't know what just happened right there. But P2, great run for Takuma Sato. One of the greatest to ever do it at Indy. He's gonna have a great shot. If you remember, he wrecked his primary Indy 500 car a month ago in the open test, and they have this new chassis, new tub, everything's ready to go. And I was worried about him, especially with Rahal Letterman Lanigan's prior Indy 500 qualifying results. And he was able to put that thing at the front of the field, up at the P2 position. I think he is a serious threat for this year's Indy 500. And then also your final front row starter, Pato O'Ward with McLaren. I think the biggest storyline that you get here is Ganassi just slow in qualifying. There's just no other way to say it. They were fast enough to make the Fast 6 with Palou and Dixon, just not fast enough for pole. McLaren, I feel like they choked it this year. I felt like they just missed it enough where they just didn't have the. I think they're more ready for race pace than they are with the qualifying pace. And then the biggest thing here is the cheating by Penske with the rear attenuators. How do I feel about this? I feel terrible about this. The problem is the conflict of interest, right? Roger Penske owns the team, owns the track, owns the series. This is the second time in 2 years we've had Team Penske have an issue with the rule book. We saw it last year at St. Pete with the push to pass. We see it this year with the rear attenuators. A lot of rumors are going around that they've had this issue at the Indy 500 in the past. There's pictures of this on the cars from last year, and pictures from the open tests, and pictures from the previous days. And somehow it never came to light of day until pre-qualifying inspection for the round of 12, the Fast 12. It's hard for me to be the conspiracy people that we are on this YouTube channel. We've had our tinfoil hats on a lot. It's hard for me to believe that they had this issue prior to this inspection on Sunday. The IndyCar paddock or any racing paddock is pretty tight knit. Everybody kind of looks over their shoulder and sees what everybody else is doing. If people want to complain that they have pictures of this being an issue from previous times or previous weeks, months, a year ago, and none of them stepped forward and reported this until this inspection happened, then they're just as bad as Penske. So it's hard for me to believe that this has been going on for a while. What are the facts? Was this a performance enhancing modification to the rear attenuator? No. 100% no. It's not going to make their cars go faster. Is it against the rules to modify this piece of part? Yes. Yes, it is. Should repercussions happen for breaking the rules, especially in a race of this magnitude, the biggest race in the world, biggest race of the series? Yes. Would disqualifying them from the race and not allowing them to compete, making it a 31 car field, or even adding Jacob Abel, who did not make the race, to the field, justifiable? See, that's where I don't know, because I understand what Bowles was saying, that you want to have the fastest 33 cars in the field. After day one of qualifying, they passed tech through qualifying procedures there. They were in the fast 12. They were two of the 33 fastest cars with Newgarden and Will Power. So I understand, yes, they probably should have made the race. They were two of the fastest 33 cars. But to keep the integrity and earn the respect back of the paddock and of the fans and the sponsors, the promoters, I feel like this would have been that chance to kind of set a precedent saying, hey, this isn't good. You crossed the line. I think the more I think about it, the more I dwell on it, I think that Team Penske's number 2 and 12 cars should have been disqualified from this year's Indy 500. They should not be allowed to start this year's Indy 500. It sucks. It freaking sucks to say that as a racing fan, someone that wants to see the best race car drivers and the best teams and the best the best of the best compete against each other for the biggest crown in the world. Something has to be done to protect the integrity of a motorsport. And we've seen other motorsports a lot with the FIA with Formula One. We've seen it a lot with the BOPs and IMSA in the World Endurance Championship. We've seen a lot with all the BDN moments of NASCAR we've seen over the last few years. But this would have been that moment to put your foot in the ground and say, hey, we gave you the leeway at St. Pete. We docked you points. We did this and that. Just putting them to the rear of the grid, suspending their race strategists, and then docking them qualifying points, I feel like it's just not enough. Once is an accident, can be forgivable. Twice is a reoccurring pattern. Something has to be done. A precedent has to be set. Do I believe that this is a problem that's happened for long enough? I can't say that for sure. And it's hard for me to believe that it would have went under the radar for this long. But if it did, I'm not saying it did, but if it did, and there was some negligence from the Penske Motorsports team, the Penske management group, the IndyCar Racing Series sanctioning body, the inspection crews, if there was some negligence and this has been a reoccurring problem and it never came to the light of day until this Fast 12 Sunday, then I have lost a lot of respect for IndyCar. I am not going to say that happened. I'm not going to believe that happened. This could have just been a random mistake. It could have been something that just happened now. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that I feel like they should be disqualified from this year's Indy 500. I have nothing more to say about it. I'm going to leave it at that. This sucks. This pains me. I hate the integrity of motorsports getting eaten alive, especially when it comes to something of this magnitude, which is the biggest race in the world, the Indianapolis 500. Alrighty. Drivers of the week, Robert Schwartzman for the pole in the Indy 500. Big time moment for him. Takuma Sato, P2 in qualifying in a backup chassis. Unbelievable job. And then Alex Albon, P5 once again for Formula One. Boneheads of the week, Lane Riggs for choking the truck race. Ryan Preece, the choose cone issue in the Cup Series All-Star Open, and then Team Penske's tech failure at Indy. Alrighty, now it is time to preview this weekend's Truck Xfinity Cup at Charlotte, Indy, and IndyCar this weekend for the Indianapolis 500, and the Formula One, Formula Two Monaco Grand Prix weekend. Notable bunches in the trucks. We got Brandon Jones in the number one for Tricon. BJ McLeod moving up in the race for Spire in the 07 truck, with KFB in the 7 truck, respectively. Ross Chastain in the 44 Nice truck. Luke Fenhouse with Thorsport in the 66. And then old PK, Parker Kligerman, back with Henderson in the 75. Xfinity, Austin Dillon will drive for RCR in the 3. William Byron in the 17 for Hendrick. Chase Briscoe in the 19 for JGR. And Connor Zilic is back in the number 88 after his back issue. All right, in the Cup Series, Derek Krause with NY Racing in the 44. Josh Balicki in the number 66 for MBM. Jimmy Johnson in the 84 for Legacy Motor Club. And then Connor Zilic making his second Cup Series start in the number 87 for Trackhouse. All right, on Friday, we have the Truck Series, the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. I think this is going to be a big weekend for Nice Motorsports. I'm predicting it right now. I think Ross Chastain gets the dub this weekend for Nice. Maybe a little bit of redemption for that way that Homestead race kind of ended there for him. And then my dark horse, I'm going with Caden Honeycutt. Again, I think this guy is bound to win a race here sooner than later. Why not this weekend at Charlotte? All right, and then on Saturday, the Xfinity Series. Excuse me. Cough drop before I jump into that. All right. On Saturday, the Xfinity Series, the BetMGM 300 at Charlotte. I think this man's on a mission. He is, I think, the best driver, upcoming prospect driver in the world. This guy could drive anything and make it fast. I think he's got a fire lit underneath him, especially after what happened at Talladega, the back injury, the losing of that race. I think Connor Zilic comes back on an absolute tear this weekend and wins at Charlotte. I think this is going to be a very interesting race. I think you're going to see Byron up there a bit. I think you're going to see the JGR cars up there a bit. And I think you're also going to see the Junior Motorsports cars. I think really that's where the race is going to come down to, is between those three teams. I think Zilic is going to qualify up front, most likely pole. I think he's going to control most of the race. I think a lot of the mistakes he's made, I think he's learned from them. I think he's coming back with an absolute fire and determination. I'm excited to see what he can do this weekend. And he's going to be running the double, so there's going to have an extra fire underneath him. I'm going to take Connor Zilic this weekend in the Xfinity Series race. And then my dark horse, I think he's the best dark horse pick you could take on any intermediate, really anywhere. I mean, he's just been so good everywhere. It's not a matter of if he can win, it's a matter of when he can win, and that is Ryan Sieg this weekend at Charlotte. I think this is one of his better tracks. He's so good at like Texas, Homestead, Kansas. I mean, all these intermediate tracks, he's super good at. I think he's going to be super good here this weekend at Charlotte. All right, Sunday for the Formula One Monaco Grand Prix, the biggest 1/3 of the Motorsports Triple Crown. I've got a video out on the channel right now for you guys to go watch. I got a haters guide for the Monaco Grand Prix. We'll be doing the watch party for this race early on Sunday morning. This is the most intriguing, most important qualifying session of the season. It's the biggest race and the most important, biggest qualifying session of the season. The track is extremely hard to overtake in, especially in these modern F1 cars that are just bigger than school buses. That Q3 session on Saturday is going to be extremely important. Who do I think is going to be up there in that Q3? Both McLarens, obviously. I think both Mercedes will be in there. I have a good feeling both Williams will be in there as well. I think Max Verstappen will be in there. So that's 7. I guess the biggest dark horses is, do we see maybe like a Haas surprises with an Ocon? Do we see maybe an RB get one, buy one, get one free team up in there, like with Hadjar, who's had some good success recently? Do we see both Ferraris kind of pull themselves out of a tussle? That'll be interesting to keep your eyes on. And then I guess your big dark horse there would be like Yuki Tsunoda. Do we see Yuki Tsunoda work his way up in there? When it comes to qualifying, I know McLaren has the best cars. It's not even a shadow in anybody's doubt at this point. But they don't have the best drivers. And if I'm looking at a driver who is going to absolutely put a car on his back, whether it's the fastest or not, he's going to be able to find just that extra thousandth of a second that you need to claim the pole at Monaco. That's Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen's going to qualify on pole, guys. He's going to qualify on pole. We know it's a two-stop strategy or two-stop minimum strategy race. I don't think that he's going to have any issues on pit road. He's going to execute. He's going to be able to control the race. Especially if we get weather. I don't know what the weather looks like in Monaco, but if weather comes into play, that's going to even play further into Max Verstappen's wheelhouse. I'm taking Max Verstappen this weekend. He's going to win another Monaco Grand Prix. I think he's the master. He is the absolute master. Um, I just don't see how this world title goes down without a fight for Max Verstappen. I think he is going to somehow, when it's all said and done, all the smoke clears and all of the racing is done for the year, I think Max Verstappen will be hosting that world championship once again. And I think that this Monaco Grand Prix is going to be another notch in his belt to prove exactly why he is the best. I think the McLaren's going to be nipping on his heels. I say watch out this weekend for like Kimi Antonelli. I think he's going to have a good run. I think the biggest wild card really here is, like I said, with Yuki Tsunoda. Can he qualify into Q3? Can he put himself towards the front of the field? What about the Ferraris? Ferraris have just, it's been hard to watch Ferrari this year. I mean, they're bad. They were the best team last year in this race, and I honestly can't even say they're the third or fourth best car on the grid coming into this race. That being said, my dark horse is a man that has been really close to Monaco Grand Prix victory the last few years. I know he's took a downgrade to Williams this year, but I have a really good feeling about Williams. I don't know how this race is going to play out. I don't know how the start's going to go. We could see Lando Norris not go on the restart like we see 99.9% of the time. He could create some issues. Maybe Carlos Sainz put up a lap time for the ages and qualifies up towards the top three and puts himself in position early in this race. Maybe strategy plays out into his favor. Maybe they hit the right tire compounds. Maybe they catch a good safety car at the right time. I'm telling you guys, watch out for Carlos Sainz. He knows how to wheel it around the streets of Monaco. He is going to be an absolute factor this weekend. I said it last year with Piastri. I said Piastri is going to be the guy to watch. And this was kind of before McLaren kind of jumped into the McLaren we know of right now. And he had to finish a P2 last year. I have a feeling that Williams is really starting to figure something out here. I think Tom is right. I think they are going to win a Grand Prix before the end of this year, whether it be Sainz or Albon. But I have a really good feeling about Sainz this weekend. This is a track that I feel like he is going to be able to get the most out of that Williams. I feel like their strategy is going to be good, and I feel like in Q3 we're going to be watching that Williams with Carlos Sainz put up a lap that is just going to stun the hell out of us, and he's going to be in the top 3 positions starting this race. All right. And then after that, our second watch party of the day for the most prestigious race in the world, the second leg of the Triple Crown. That is the Indianapolis 500, the 109th running of this absolute greatest spectacle in racing. Probably the most entertaining and fun race you'll see all year long. We have some great storylines going in the race with Team Penske starting on the final row. We got Alex Palou, the most dominant driver in the series. He is going to be starting up in the front 2 rows. We have a rookie on the pole with Schwartzman. We got Takuma Sato, 2-time winner. He's out there trying to go for another Indy 500 win with a very fast race car. We got Elio Castroneves in this race, who is looking to win his 5th, an historic, record-breaking Indy 500, 5th for the 5th time. Joseph Newgarden going for 3 in a row, which has never been done before. Scott Dixon trying to win his second Indy 500. We have Old Hung Money running the double. Does the weather persist? Does it stay away for him to be able to attempt the double again? Can he actually win the Indianapolis 500? We're going to find all of that out on Sunday with this long 500-mile grueling event. I've got a Haters Guide video up on the YouTube channel right now for you guys to watch so you guys can get familiar with the entry list and storylines going into this year's Indianapolis 500. Make sure you guys like that video and share that video with everybody because it's pretty funny. It's a comedy review or a preview of the Indianapolis 500. All right, my pick. I predicted him to do the triple or to get the 3 sweep at Indianapolis this year, which would have be winning the Grand Prix, winning the pole, winning the Indy 500. Well, I messed up on that one. He got the Grand Prix, qualified 6th, but he still has a chance to win the Indy 500. He's never won an oval before, let alone the Indy 500. He is the most dominant driver in IndyCar. I think his car in race pace, race trim is extremely fast. He's been one of the fastest cars at Indianapolis all month long. This is the year. Hello, Polo is going to win this year's 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. I've got no doubts in my mind. It feels like destiny. It feels like this has been brewing up for so long. He's had so many close calls. If you remember the P2 finish in 2022, if you remember the VK issue in 2023, uh, last year was close and up in contention late, wasn't able to capitalize on it, didn't have as fast of a car. I feel like last year as he does this year. Watch out for old hello Alex Palou. My dark horse. I'm going to give you two. The reason I'm going to give you the second one is because I don't really know if he's considered a dark horse at this point, considering his track record in Indy and where he qualified. But first off, I'm going to go David Malukas. Hear me out on this one. His teammate Santino Ferruccio with AJ Foyt Racing has never finished outside the top 10 at Indianapolis. I think David Malukas is a better driver. His car is faster. He proved it all week long. Made it to the Fast 12. I feel like this guy is on an absolute joyride, an absolute storybook historic run this year. I have a feeling David Malukas is going to be a factor late in this race. I feel like he is going to be able to position himself in the right position late. When we get to that final little stint, that final like 50 miles, 60 miles of the race, the big crucial part after the final pit stop, and we're into that, got the field kind of whittled down to like about your 5 to 6 best cars, and we're doing the drag and we're doing the swaps at the front of the field. I think David Malukas is going to be one of those 6 key contenders there at the end. I would say at least one of the Penske's will be in that mix. I would also say Takuma Sato will be in that mix, and I'll also say obviously Palou will be in that mix, and then I also think that maybe we'll see kind of a surprise guy up in that mix as well, and then as well as like Pat O'Ward, maybe a Christian Lundgaard up in that mix as well. That's kind of where I'm looking at for the City 500. And then my other dark horse, which I don't really know if he's considered a dark horse, I'm going with Takuma Sato. If there's one man that will absolutely put everything on the line to win this Indy 500, it's Takuma Sato. He's got the experience, he's got the car, and he's got the choice pit selection with, and he'll be able to strategize around that, and he'll be able to position himself late in this race. I feel like Palou, Pat O'Ward, David Malukas, one of the Penske's, those would be about your 5 guys we see up there battling for the win at the end of this race. And I think Takuma Sato could do it. I think he could honestly do it. I would not be shocked one bit if he wins this race. I predicted the first lap he's going to take the lead in turn 1. I think he is going to control the beginning of this race. I think it's going to be him, Pat O'Ward, maybe even Alex Palou, Scott Dixon. I think a couple of those guys are going to be up there kind of swapping the lead early on the strategy. That's kind of how I predict this race going. I don't think Schwartzman's going to be able to stay up there much longer at the beginning of this race. But that's it. That's my prediction, man, for this year's Indianapolis 500. Alrighty. I got 2 more things to go over with you guys here tonight. That would be the Coke 600 next, which again, watch party Sunday evening right here on this YouTube channel. Come join us. It should be a lot of fun. It'll be the nightcap to our triple header watch parties on Sunday. My favorite for this race, I'm going with Alex Bowman. Hear me out. I feel like this is going to be a Hendrick race. I have a great feeling about it. I'm going to stay away from Larson, considering he's running the double. We don't know if he's going to be at Indy, or if Indy gets rained out and he has to go to Charlotte. I don't know. I feel like it's a hard task to ask somebody to try to run 1,100 miles in a day and be expected to win at least one or maybe even both of those races. I think that's a feat that's impossible. I'm going to stay away from Elliott. Purely for the fact that he is not even he's the 4th best driver at Hendrick right now, in my opinion. The points might not reflect that, but it's kind of how I feel. I don't see Elliott winning anything of significance anytime soon. Next would be Byron. who I could see easily winning this race as well. But I'm gonna go with Bowman for the fact that his intermediates this year have been exceptional. That team has been firing on all cylinders on intermediates. We saw what he did at Darlington. We saw what he did at Homestead. We saw what he did at Kansas. I think this is gonna be another one of those races where he's gonna be lurking in that top 5 to top 10 all day long. Uh, and who knows? By the end of the race, maybe they'll be able to make the right adjustments, be able to put themselves in position, late race restarts. I don't know what it'll be, but this just feels like an Alex Bowman esque weekend here for me. And then my dark horse, I'm going to go with Hostin Karsavar, purely for the fact that he is probably the best driver in the Cup Series with the probably one of the worst rides that he's in. Compare ride to ability comparison here. I think Hostin is definitely gonna be one to watch this weekend. Excuse me. All right. Now from NASCAR Fantasy. My 5 driver lineup, I'm going to go with Alex Bowman, Josh Berry, Chase Elliott, William Byron, and Ryan Preece. Matchups. Very interesting matchups this week. We got Blaney versus Reddick. I'm going to go Blaney. I think Blaney's going to be a top 10 guy all day. Reddick has not really impressed me on my intermediate so far this year. Next is Bell and Byron. Same thing. I'm going to go Byron over Bell because of the same issue. I just don't feel like the strength of the Toyotas on the intermediates have been that great this year. And Byron, I think, is going to be a contender to win. Next is Hamlin and Larson. I'm going to go Hamlin over Larson just because of the whole 1,100-mile factor. I just feel like there's got to do something to you mentally, physically, especially in the race of this magnitude. Next one is Busch and Bowman. I'm going to go Bowman, obvious reasons, because I picked him to win the race. All right, guys. That'll do it. That'll wrap up another Full Send Half Mass podcast here on this YouTube channel. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching all of our recent uploads. Like I said, I've got Haters Guide videos up for you guys now on YouTube for Formula One's Monaco Grand Prix and the IndyCar's Indianapolis 500. Make sure you guys go watch those. Leave a comment. Leave some of your thoughts. They're pretty fun to make, pretty funny to listen to. Make sure you guys go give them a like and share them with all your friends leading into this big race weekend. Also, like I mentioned, the watch parties, the triple header watch parties, those are scheduled on the YouTube channel now, as well as on our Discord channel. Turn on notifications and get ready and prepared to come and hang out with us. Just come watch the race with us, interact in the chat. We'll be here all day long on Sunday watching the races, having a great time. It's always the best time of the year. Merry Motorsports Day, Memorial Day, Sunday. Also, if like I mentioned with the Discord, the link is in the description below. Come join our Discord. All of the motorsports news from around the world is posted right here on our Discord. All the memes, rumor, dramas, everything and anything you could think of motorsports related is right here on our Discord. Come join the greatest motorsports community on the internet and interact with like-minded racing fans such as yourself. Also, post some of your own content. We love it when people do that. Maybe you guys find stuff that we can't find. And maybe start some cool talking points that always keeps everybody entertained in our Discord. Make sure you guys can follow us on all of our socials. All those links are in the description below, as well as on the bottom of the screen for you guys to go find us and follow us over there to stay up to date with everything happening on our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go check out our merch store. I got my Big Daddy IMSA hat on today. Make sure you guys go check out that merch store. Quality merch for low price. All of those proceeds come back to help support us and make us bigger and better content for you guys here on YouTube. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Cannot wait for this weekend's races. This is the best day of the year. I can't wait for you guys to tune in on the watch parties and hang out with us and enjoy the races along with us. Thank you guys so much again, like I said for the third time, for tuning in here on this awesome Tuesday. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week and are having an awesome racing weekend. And with that being said, we will catch y'all in the next one.